Well, my fellow Driftomaniacs, welcome to my JJRC 6-wheel drive RC Military Truck review. I love my fast RC cars, but I also like slow crawlers as well. And although they class this, they refer to this on the description as high speed, I think it is more suited to crawling than it is like busting around like a buggy. Also, its title, called Transporter 5. Why not call it Transporter 6? Because it's 6-wheel drive, guys. Just a minor thing on there. Anyway, it's available in two versions. This is the green military truck version I've got here, and it says spinning with a table round. We've also got it available in a tan colour. You'll notice it's got little logs in the back on there, and little rocks on this side. That's because it will carry up to ½ kilogram of weight in the back of the truck, so you can have good scale fun with this. Anyway, without more ado, let me get out of the box, see what we get for our money. Link to this below the video if anybody likes it. And if you do like it, guys, don't forget to subscribe. Okay guys, well, not quite sure what to expect. I've had a little peek in the end, just purely to make sure I don't do my classic open the thing upside down. So it is the right way up, I know that. But other than that, I'm not sure what we get in our box. So I've got the green version on here. It is very scale, I have to say, is my initial thoughts taking it out of the box. First of all, get the transmitter out before I have a look at the car. Instruction manual in the box here. Okay, well, our charger, as with a lot of these vehicles of this nature, little USB charger on there, so I'm going to find the battery in a minute, and a screwdriver on there. Okay, so straight onto the transmitter. Looks like we got two AA batteries that go in the bottom on there. That screwdriver is probably for undoing the bottom of the transmitter on here. Throttle, brake, reverse on there, steering on there. It's got quite a solid feel to it. That's quite well sprung, self-centering on there. It's got a little button marked M/S on there, which I have no idea what that does as yet, so I need to read the instruction manual. On-off switch on the back there. I will be charging the car up and powering it up so we can see the JJRC 6-wheel drive military truck run at the end of this video. Okay, now going through our instruction book, there are various forms of this truck: Q62, Q63, and the one I've picked, which is the Q64. So if you want one of these, you're looking for the JJRC Q64. What comes with it? Remote control, the car itself, Phillips screwdriver, USB charger, this instruction manual. Okay, now quickly looking through the instruction manual, that little button is for setting the speed of the car. I guess we'd be high or low, but I'm not quite sure where it's marked MS. Okay guys, it is the JJRC Q64 6-wheel drive military truck. Is super scale. We've got a very high level of detail in here on the plastic body. I'm going to spin it round in just a second on there, and as I say, this is load carrying, will carry up to ½ kilo in weight on that. And looking at the back there, we've got a real working tailgate on there, which just pops home to lock that in place. Looking below that tailgate, we've got a little tow bar on there, a little eye hook that you could use to tow stuff along with. Now we'll pan around to the front on the opposite side of the car, because this does have one key feature on this side of the truck, it doesn't on the other. And that is the spare wheel tucked away on there. So all in all, quite neat. I'm going to have a quick spin round the underside before we find that battery. If I zoom into the cab in there, you'll see we've even got a scale steering wheel in here. So the whole thing, super scale. Okay, well, starting underneath at the front of the car, we've got our on-off switch on there. Steering trim, you haven't got any on the transmitter, but on like a lot of these types of cars, you've got a little manual steering trim on there, and our steering servo is tucked away out the way there. As I say, 6-wheel drive, so these front wheels are driven. Coming down to the centrally mounted motor and gearbox in there, and the shaft coming out the back of that comes on down to the second set of driven wheels. Shaft out the back of that comes down to the third set of driven wheels. Metal ladder frame chassis, which should prove reasonably resilient on there. Now you will note down there, you can see the exposed electrics inside the car on there. So this is not the kind of thing you're going to take through very deep water, crossing a river, etc, etc. But not too bad value for money. But we will see how the thing goes when it's charged up. Now, when I mentioned it was 6-wheel drive and maybe more sorted to crawling speeds than it was like buggy type speeds on it, of note there is a diff on the front axle, diff on the middle axle, and a diff on the rear axle. None of the diffs are locked on here, so well, I'm sure it will prove to be quite a good call about 6-wheel drive traction. They're not actually locked diffs on here. I do wonder if you can actually lock the diffs on here, because I would think this thing would be quite potent with the 6-wheel drive crawling ability on there. And we've got scale leaf springs for suspension all round on here, so this thing is, as I say, super scale. Okay, well, to get access to the battery, you simply slide it back. It's quite neat. That's completely concealed out of the way in there. Okay, we've got a 700 milliamp battery on here, so I shall go away, leave that charging overnight, and the next thing you're going to see is this car running. Well, first of all, to get the car and the transmitter talking to each other, we need to pair them. In this particular case, you turn the car on first, it says, which is slightly unusual, and then the transmitter. And when the red light stops flashing, it is paired. To see that work, let's take it outside, see how well it steers, climbs, descends, etc. and see just how fast it is with the high and low speed button on there. And one really neat feature found on the front of the truck is these two little LED lights on there, which are always on. Okay guys, well, I've got the JJRC 6-wheel drive crawler, so I'm going to give it a quick spin around the garden. I'm going to try it on some loose surface up here, but I have a feeling that it's only got quite a small motor in here, and that even with a 6-wheel drive, with not having locked diffs, shouldn't be viewed as a crawler on it. However, I think it should be fine from test run it. I think it should be fine on grass and blacktop. So see what you think, and I'll show you the 2-speed thing as well. Now the steering on these is quite unique. So if you listen to that noise, there's like a motor turning the wheels all the time when you're turning changing directions. There's not a traditional servo setup on there. You can flick between the speeds, but there's not a huge difference. That's the faster speed. Not bad. Faster than I thought actually for such a small motor, and it is super scale. And they say it will carry up to half a kilo, but it's not going to be carrying half a kilo off the road or through big long grass. That's for sure. So in the lower speed gear is not that much of lower speed. Not because it's not got 2 gears. It's not that much slower. But bashes over stuff nonetheless. So maybe a good first RC for your kids. I think with a 6-wheel drive on there, you can help it get over quite a bit. But it's still, you can maybe convert this into a lot of diffs and a bigger motor in now. I think it'll make a superb crawler. And the blacktop here. Good turning radius. So I believe that's in the slower speed on there, so press the button. Yeah, it's marginally higher speed on there, and you've got those great scale lights at the front, and you can turn it as fast as you like. Your kids aren't going to spin this over whatsoever. So quite a little fun RC toy, and you can get all the spare parts up for it. So I would definitely say it is hobby grade. This is the kind of thing people do modify and go and maybe fit a bigger motor in there, different electrics, because the mechanics of the thing in there are not too bad. Metal frames, leaf springs, trans a bit of gravel. Now once it's got a bit of speed up, it will pretty much get over most obstacles. See how we got on the gravel. Now it shouldn't be trouble too much, it's just a little tricky to keep it in a straight line. Oh, there we are. Good now. As I say, that motor could just do with being a touch bigger. I think it's a little bit underpowered, unless you're on super smooth surfaces. But it's got quite a good turn of speed when it gets going. Off-road capability wise, as I say, it's not what you think it would be. You think, oh, 6-wheel drive, it'd be a crawler, it'd be great, but it's not. Definitely not designed, I would say, to be an off-road car. So a nice little fun RC there, guys. I would say with a little bit of modification work, I'm thinking like a slightly hotter motor in there, different electrics on there. You maybe get something cheap off of Amazon or from Banggood, refit the electrics on there, and maybe even consider locking these diffs, because with all 6 wheels there's locked diffs. Okay, sure, it wouldn't steer as well, but it would climb over just about anything. Suspension is, with those leaf springs, not too bad at all. Anyway, it's got a great scale look to it, I have to say, from that point of view. And even the tailgate comes down on that. So a nice little different, unique RC car there, guys. Anyway, guys, your comments on this, most welcome. Thanks for watching. We hope you liked this video. If you did, please click on the circle image to subscribe. And if you hit subscribe, then don't forget to hit that little notifications bell next to it.